Thanks so much for having us. My name's Mallory Forseth. I am the Minnesota Grown Program Manager at the Minnesota Department of Agriculture, and I am joined by my colleague Jen Schaust, who is the Environmental Outreach Coordinator at MDA. We're really grateful to be here. Just hearing your conversations today has really gotten my wheels turning about how we can better promote and support all of the amazing things you're doing. So I'm hoping that we can have a conversation about that as well. So just a quick overview of what we'll be chatting about today. So I'm with Minnesota Grown, so I'll be covering the resources that we offer as a program for farmers and farmers markets around the state. We'll be talking about some grant opportunities that are relevant to this group, and then Jen will be talking about continuous living cover. So we'll start with Minnesota Grown marketing resources and benefits. So I'm the program manager for Minnesota Grown. We have a two-person staff. I focus on our relationships with farmers and farmers markets around the state. And then my colleague Rachel Wandry, who wasn't able to be here today, she's our marketing manager. So we'll talk about kind of what we do, but we do a significant amount of marketing and promotion of Minnesota Grown products, and she takes the lead on that. Our contact info is up there. We'll have that at the end as well, but feel free to take a picture and reach out to us anytime if you have feedback or ideas or there are ways that we can support you. So Minnesota Grown's mission is to promote quality Minnesota grown products, essentially for everyone's benefit, for the benefit of consumers and producers. We are the Department of Agriculture's Buy Local program. So we are promoting what's in season, educating consumers on how to use it and where to find it, connecting them with farmers, primarily who sell direct to consumer, but we're also expanding some into wholesale and supporting farmers who sell into wholesale markets, farm to school kind of being the biggest one right now. I'll also talk a little bit about the history of the program. So it's been around for about 35 years, and it was started by specialty crop producers who wanted a way to differentiate their products on the market. They were noticing that consumers valued buying local and maybe were even willing to pay a premium for local products, but didn't have an easy way to identify those local products in the marketplace. So they got together with the Department of Ag and started this program as a way for consumers to identify local products and create a statewide brand for local. So here's kind of the 5 things that we do to further our mission. And we'll talk about each one in a little more detail, but it's a nice overview. So we have a directory, a wholesale and consumer directory. We also do a lot of advertising. So this year we're spending about $250,000 on advertising of Minnesota grown products. And you can see that's television, digital, we do YouTube ads, Spotify ads, email, print, social media, a wide variety. We license the Minnesota Grown logo to producers, so if you become a member of Minnesota Grown, you can use that logo to promote your products. We've found that it has pretty good brand recognition across the state, so we did a survey recently of consumers and found that 80% of consumers recognized the Minnesota Grown logo, and about 61% said that they were more likely to buy a product if they saw that label on it. Our producers also tell us that using the logo, especially for new producers, gives them some credibility and legitimacy, especially if they're just getting started out, because it does have that recognition and has become sort of a household name. We offer free branded promotional and marketing items to our members that are branded with the logo, and I'll show you some of those in a minute. And then we also have a cost share for labeling and signage. The purpose of all these activities is to push consumers to farms, right? So to connect you with buyers, be that wholesale buyers or consumers. First up is the Minnesota Grown Directory. So this is a directory of we have about 1,000 listings right now of farms and farmers markets all around the state. It's a wide variety of products, so everything from apples to beeswax to yak fiber and emu oil. So one of the cool things about it is it becomes sort of a one-stop shop for local products. So someone might find the directory when they're looking for a local Christmas tree and then say, oh, cool, I can find local apples and apple orchards here. I'll come back in the fall to do that. It gets some pretty good traffic. So last year, it was visited by about 375,000 unique users who came to search for products or producers. And I'll show you a quick screen recording of how it works. I would encourage you also to pull up your phone and poke through it to see some of the features. But this is our website. You just click on Search Directory. And there are multiple ways to search. We'll go through Explore, and Explore will show you all of the farms and all of the products all around the state. So there are about 1,000 listings here, and it's map-based so that folks can search for producers that are near them. There's also a list that shows up at the bottom for folks who prefer to search that way. And the map is dynamic, so you can zoom in and out. You can also search by location. So here, I can't remember what I did, Hutchinson. We searched within 25 miles of Hutchinson, and then the map will zoom into that area and show you what's there. You can click around to zoom in further. Clicking on the pins, each pin represents a farm or a market, and that'll show you information about that farm, and you can click to visit a listing. So we'll visit this poultry farm's listing, and the listings have photos to pull people in, a brief description of the farm, the products they offer, as well as action items that folks can take. So you can click to call, click to email, or visit a website directly from the listing. I believe these folks use their Facebook page as their website, which is very common and a great way to connect with consumers directly from the directory listing. That's just one way to search, so we'll show you one more. You can also search by product. So if you're looking for a specific product, here I went to products, specialty food and beverages, and eggs. And then this page will show you only those producers who listed eggs as a product that they're selling. It works exactly the same way. And one cool feature is that you can also search along a route, which I think I did next. So let's say I work in St. Paul and live in Northfield, and I want to find an egg producer that I can stop by once a week to pick up eggs on the way home. I can search within 10 miles of that route, and it'll narrow the results to just those listings that are within 10 miles of that route. So we found one here that's just a few miles off the route. Brand Farms sells eggs direct from the farm. And you can also get driving directions, which is really handy if you're looking on a mobile phone. It can provide you driving directions in Google to get straight to the farm. So some impact of that, I looked up numbers. So the nice thing about Google Analytics is we can get a lot of information about how this website's being used and what the traffic looks like. We currently have over 150 producers of poultry products listed in the directory. And in 2022, pages for chicken, turkey, ducks, and eggs had over 7,000 visitors. That's just one of many ways that folks search, so there were likely many more searches through the Explore page or through other sort of paths to get to those listings. I guess just a quick question before I dig into this. How many of you in the room, first of all, are familiar with Minnesota Grown prior to me starting this presentation? Okay, and how many are current or past Minnesota Grown members? Okay, so just a couple of you. I won't spend a ton of time on this, but if you have questions about maximizing your listing, or if you decide to join, feel free to call me, and I'd be happy to talk you through some ways to make your listing engaging and get some of those clicks directly to your website or to call you. So that was the consumer directory. We also added a wholesale directory in recent years, so it functions in a very similar way to the consumer directory. However, it includes information that would be relevant to wholesale buyers. So things like distribution, insurance, food safety information. We target it towards institutions at the moment, primarily schools who are looking to source products for farm-to-school programs. And we have heard from producers that they have gotten large sales through the wholesale directory. So this is actually a maple syrup producer that I talked with this year who called about something else and said, hey, I just wanted to tell you that based on my wholesale directory listing, I connected with a school and got the largest order that I've ever had this year. So I'm having the best year that I've had because of this one wholesale listing. That brings us on to branded marketing materials. So you'll see the stickers on the outside of those boxes. That's one of the free items that we give away to our members to use to promote their products. Those boxes are also stuffed full of other marketing material items. So they're things like Price cards, you can see for the garlic, if you're selling at a farmer's market or a farm stand, those are really handy. We have product-specific stickers like the honey, general Minnesota grown sort of branding stickers, shelf talkers for if you're selling retail. We have these sort of turkey and chicken pricing items. There's a wide variety. And all of these items are free to Minnesota Grown members in unlimited quantities to order through the year to promote their products. So last year we shipped out about 500,000 of these items to our members who find it useful to save money on the items themselves, as well as kind of the shopping time to figure out what they want to use. Another benefit is the cost share program. So we have a program that will help you with the cost of product labels, product packaging, or signage if you include the Minnesota Grown logo in your design. So that'll reimburse 50% of the cost of those items up to $300 a year. And so you can see here, there's like a cooler that Heritage Acres put the logo on for farmers market sales, delivery trucks, farmers market banners, as well as a variety of packaging items. I'll skip over this one because it's kind of directed to members, but if you are curious how to find your benefits on the website, right up there at the top where the cursor is our members and retailers section, which is everything you'll need to know. So I'll zoom in a little bit now on the advertising. This is not my specialty, so you'll have to bear with me a little bit, but this makes up about half of our budget. And so one of the things that we do is ads on TV, YouTube, as well as streaming platforms like Hulu. And I'll show you this quick 15-second ad. We keep them short because they get higher view rates and higher click rates if we keep them to about 15 seconds. This one happens to be for strawberries, but we do ads for a wide variety of products. We do general Minnesota grown ads, farmers markets, Christmas trees, the list goes on. So I'll play this quickly.
We connect you from the map to the farm to your very first fresh berry of the season.
So the call to action in all of these is go find your local farmer at minnesotagrown.com. So the ads really do benefit producers all around the state, regardless of if they're members or not, just by raising awareness about what's in season. But it benefits you most if you're listed in the directory, because folks are going to go there and find, in this case, a berry patch near them. We also do digital advertising. So these are the types of ads that would pop up. Let's say you're looking at a recipe blog. You might see this ad alongside the recipe. So these are a couple of examples for berries and farmers markets. The purpose here is awareness because many of these products are seasonal, to remind people, hey, it's berry season. Go find a berry farmer near you. So they're targeted by location. They're statewide, so we do them in Metro as well as all throughout greater Minnesota, and also targeted by demographics and interests. So like I said, food blogs seem like an obvious place to target folks for these types of things. The digital ads last year had 9 million impressions on Google and over 1 million impressions on YouTube. So we also do sponsored search. So this is if you go Google chicken and your IP address happens to be in the state of Minnesota. Hopefully, Farm Fresh Poultry, search for a farmer near you at minnesotagrown.com will be the first thing to show up as a sponsored ad at the top. So again, we do these for a variety of products. This is an actual ad that's running right now for poultry. And I looked at the stats last night, and in 2022, chicken and poultry ads had more than 200,000 impressions and about 2,500 clicks around the state. And we do them not only on Google, which is, I think, the most popular, but also Yahoo, Bing, and DuckDuckGo. Social media, of course, is huge in marketing farm direct products. We have a decent social media following, so we have about 42,000 followers across Facebook and Instagram put together. We also do a monthly e-newsletter called Pick of the Month. And there was actually one that went out, I think today, that had poultry products featured. And there are about 36,000 subscribers to that as well. So it includes things like product features, recipes, and we also do farmer features in those. Here's some examples of some of those farmer features that we do. Member Mondays, these are by far the most popular posts on our social media site, so it really kind of drives home that one reason that people buy local is they really appreciate that connection with the farmer. They don't just want to know about your products, they really want to know about you and your life and the lifestyle. We work with influencers as well, and I've been thinking all day that regenerative poultry would be a great story to be told by an influencer. These influencers help us reach new markets that we're not currently reaching. So here's an example of one that was done by Planet with Sarah is the name of the influencer, and she did a piece for us on early season apples. Some highlights, she reached like 57,000 accounts. So again, it just helps us expand the market of folks that we're reaching with our messaging. We also do print materials, so I have some of them here if anybody would like some of the examples. We're doing a new magazine called Living Local, so this is the spring issue. Again, it includes recipes, tips and tricks on local products, as well as QR codes throughout that take folks to the directory. So to have like a recipe for quiche, and then a QR code that says, find local eggs near you, and you can scan that, and it'll take you directly to the search page that's just for eggs, for folks to connect with you. Postcards, we have these buy local postcards that have been really popular that have information about what's in season on the other side, and then stickers that we also have here if you're interested. I think they were kind of a hot item today, so I'd be happy to give away the rest of them before I go. Oops. So that's kind of a summary. What it costs is there are two options. So $20 a year is the basic membership level, and that gives you license to use the logo, access to all those free marketing materials that I mentioned, eligibility for that cost share program, and a wholesale directory listing if you want it and you're selling wholesale. If you want to be listed in the consumer directory, that's an extra $40 a year, so a total of $60. I always tell people if you're joining even at the $60 level, take advantage of the cost share once. You've paid $60, you've gotten $300, you have netted $240 for the year, so it's not a bad deal. And there's the link to, if you'd like to apply or learn more information. I also have brochures that I could hand out to you. That's it on Minnesota Grown. You'll notice grant opportunities from the MDA has the name Kelly next to it, and unfortunately my colleague Kelly was a little under the weather today and wasn't able to make it, so I'll be covering her session on grant opportunities. I am by no means an expert on this, so if you have questions, her contact info is at the end, and I would encourage you to take a photo of that and reach out to her. But I can share the basics. So there are a number of grant opportunities. The calendar is sort of year-round, and you kind of need a long lead time on them. So I think the big recommendation is to think about the projects that you have coming up, and then go to the MDA website, look through the grants available to see if one fits with your project, and keep in mind like the calendar of those. You can also sign up for alerts. So there are grant alerts that you can sign up for. You'll get an email anytime a new grant has been announced. The first is the Agri-Livestock Investment Grant. So this grant reimburses 10% of an investment up to $25,000, and eligible expenses are equipment and facilities. So buildings, construction costs, equipment, facility improvement. It's focused on livestock production, not processing. She said things like fencing would also be eligible, and applications are accepted in the fall for that program. There are two value-added grants. So one is sort of a general value-added agri grant program, and then there's a meat, poultry, and egg processing specific grant. So when talking to Kelly, she said both of them can fund anything related to processing of poultry or eggs. So if you need an egg washing station, if you decide that you want to process poultry and need equipment to do that, anything that's adding value to the products on your farm. The difference is that the state decided that they wanted to prioritize these grants to folks who are doing meat, poultry, and egg processing. So there are two different grants. One that's specific to those products where it's exclusive to those, and you get the benefit that none of the other value-added products like cider or wine, that sort of thing, would be included and competing with you. And then the other one is more general. So you can apply for both. You just have maybe a more likely chance of getting the one that's specific to the meat and poultry and egg processing. This one's a little bit bigger, so it covers 25% of a project up to $150,000 total. And again, it's anything that helps with the processing or packaging of items. So it has to be for value add and equipment. And that one comes out in the winter. I think the regular one actually might come out in the summer, the more general grant. So again, look on the website or sign up for the alerts to be notified when those come out. The Agri-Sustainable Egg Demonstration Grant. So this is if you're interested in doing research of some sort on your farm. So this funds 2 to 3 years of on-farm research projects, and it must include some sort of public outreach and engagement in your project. Also, the results of your research will be published in a booklet, and I have some of those at the table if you want to grab one just to see what research has been done and what sort of those projects that have been funded look like. It's up to $50,000. And grants over $25,000 must be matched 1-to-1. So essentially, the first $25,000 doesn't require a match. If you go over $25,000, anything above $25,000, you have to match 50%. And that one comes out in the fall. Some additional opportunities, and then here's Kelly's contact info. So if you want to reach out to her, you might want to snap a picture of that, or I can get you her contact info afterwards. But there are others as well that may apply. So Urban Agriculture Grant, there is a down payment assistance grant if you are planning to purchase land that can help you with the cost of your down payment. If you are organic and trying to get the certification for that, there is a cost share program that will help you cover the cost of getting certified. RFA or Egg MBP loans, those are low interest loans. Those all happen through your bank. They are supported by the Department of Agriculture, but you would need to talk to your banker to start the process to apply for those. And then she also threw on MDA's Egg Water Quality Certification Program. So I'm going to pass it off to Jen, and then if you have questions, we can take those all at the end.
Thanks, Mallory. So again, my name is Jen Schaust. I'm here to tell you about a new grant opportunity that we have that just opened on Monday. It's developing markets for continuous living cover. Before I get into the grant details, I just wanted to mention what led us to this grant and some of the projects and the research that MDA has been involved in and why we're looking into this opportunity. So continuous living cover definition for the grant is agricultural systems in which there are living plants and roots in the ground throughout the year. Examples are listed there at the bottom. So how did we get here? So we have a lot of environmental goals as the state, and continuous living cover through much research, partnerships with other organizations, including Forever Green, we find it's meeting those goals, right? So continuous living and cover with their deep roots keeps soil and nutrients on the soil or on the field, provides pollinator habitat with diversity. That improvement to soil health then also leads to climate resiliency and mitigation benefits with sequestration. So what is the grant? The grant is really focusing on developing markets. So anything that is going to expand your sales or help in the processing or the marketing of your product. It's through an LCCMR grant. So there are a few special stipulations that go with it, but all that can be found on the website listed at the bottom. So like I mentioned, the grant opened on Monday. It will close on April 13th. We have about $420,000 for the grant. Maximum award will be $50,000, minimum award will be $10,000. Applicants must be an organization of some kind. So it could be a private business, it could be a nonprofit, it could be a tribal group, or other. So We have a flyer on the table out there if you're interested in more information or want the website. The crops on the right-hand side are mentioned in the proposal, but that's not limited to those. So anything that would meet that continuous living cover definition would be it.
When will that grant be announced as far as who's awarded?
Who's awarded? So the contracts begin May 8th. So it would be before then we'd start to reach out to groups. Good question. All right, so that's all I have. Any questions for myself or Mallory for Minnesota Grown? Yeah.
Would it include things like value-added wood products from woody plants that are already
Yeah, so the grant is for developing that market. So if it's a crop that would be a continuous living cover crop that meets that standard, then the grant that your request would be something that's expanding or developing that market for that product.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be the nuts, it can be other value-added.
Right, right. It could be the product of, yep. Right. Yeah.
We actually farm over the border in Wisconsin. So is there a Wisconsin equivalent to Minnesota Grown?
To Minnesota Grown? Yeah.
Yes, there is. So the question was if there's a Wisconsin equivalent to Minnesota Grown, sort of. So it's called Something Special from Wisconsin. They do focus a little bit more on value add. So I think I forgot to mention this, but the requirement for Minnesota Grown labeling is that the product must be at least 80% grown or raised within the state of Minnesota. So it makes it a little bit difficult for things like salsas or anything that might contain like a citrus product, or a coffee certainly would never be eligible. But Something Special for Wisconsin, theirs I think is set at 50% or 51% to allow for that. So they end up having a lot more, it has a lot more of a value added focus. But yeah, Something Special from Wisconsin.
Is there anything like that in Iowa?
That I don't know. Sorry. Any other questions? Okay. One last thing I wanted to mention is that Minnesota Grown was created by specialty crop producers, specifically fruits and vegetables. And so it was fruit and vegetable heavy for a very long time. We are making intentional efforts right now to expand more into poultry, livestock, fiber, things of that nature. And you know, we are also very open to feedback and need your guidance in that process. So if anyone is interested in giving us some guidance on like what messaging would you like to see in ads for Minnesota poultry, please reach out to me. We do have an advisory committee that meets quarterly and gives us sort of advice and guidance on how they would like the program to look. And we would love to have a poultry processor or producer sitting on that advisory committee. So if you're of interest, reach out to me. All right. Thank y'all so much.